Hello viewers, welcome to online course on Mathematics 3, and this course is basically for undergraduate student or BTech student of engineering field. Today we are going to discuss about some properties of Fourier transform and some related examples we'll discuss in this class. Myself Sanjay Vishwas, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Applied Science and Humanities of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here is my details of contact information. If you have facing any kind of problem regarding my online class, you can call me or send message through my mail ID sanjay.vishwas@gnit.ac.in. So before we start today's lecture, let's quickly recall the last lecture. So in the last lecture we have discussed about the Fourier transform of a function and Fourier sine and cosine transform. So in this lecture we have discussed the Fourier integral theorems, Fourier transformation of a function, and after that we have discussed Fourier sine and cosine integral theorem and Fourier sine and cosine transformation, and some related example we have discussed in the previous class. And Fourier sine and cosine transformation of elementary functions and related examples we have discussed in the last class. So today we are going to discuss about the properties and derivatives of a Fourier transformation, and this is my 18th lecture on online class of Mathematics 3, or the second lecture on Fourier transformation. So here is the content of today's lecture. So today we are going to discuss about the properties of Fourier transformation. So the first we will talk about the linear properties of Fourier transformation. Then we will study on the change of scale properties of Fourier transformation. After that we will talk about the shifting properties of Fourier transformation. Then we will discuss about the modulation properties of Fourier transformation. And after that we will continue to discuss about the derivative of a functions on Fourier transformation, on multiplication by x on Fourier transformation, and some related examples we will discuss in this chapter. So first we will begin with the first properties of linear transformation. So the first property, it will be linear property. Okay. So if the function f of x and g of x, so the two functions having the Fourier transformations, then zeta of c1f plus c2g, and f and g are both function of the integrable as well as differentiable, okay, and having Fourier transformation. So zeta of c1f plus c2g, where c1 and c2 are the constant, and this is equals to c1 into zeta of f plus c2 into zeta of g. So this is the linear properties of Fourier transformations, where c1 and c2 are the constant. So here is the proof of the linear properties. So let fx and gx are two functions having Fourier transformation. So therefore zeta of f of x is equal to f of s. So this is the definition of the Fourier transformation. So and is denoted by fs. That is defined as fs is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx. Okay, where the function fx having Fourier transformation. As well, zeta of gx, and g be the another function where the Fourier transformation is it will be g of s, and is denoted by g of s for the function g, and is defined as minus infinity to plus infinity integration over g of x into e to the power I s x into dx. So these two are the Fourier transformation for the function fx and gx. So therefore from this we will get the Fourier transformation of the function c1f plus c2g. So we are going to find the Fourier transformation of the function c1f plus c2g. So therefore from the Fourier transformation it will give minus infinity to plus infinity c1 fx plus c2 gx of e to the power I sx into dx. So this is the definition of the Fourier transformation for the function c1f plus c2g, where c1 and c2 are the constant. Now separate this integration, okay, on the two functions f1 and f2, and after separating, and it will give c1 into minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I sx into dx plus c2 into minus infinity to plus infinity gx into e to the power I sx into dx, where c1 and c2 are the constant, and this integral value is actually the Fourier transformation of fx, okay, and the second integral value, this is the Fourier transformation of the function g of x. So from these two integration, or from this equation, we will get c1 into zeta of f plus c2 into zeta of g. So this is the linear properties of the Fourier transformation of the function fx and g of x. And let us move on the next property of Fourier transformation. So this is the second properties of Fourier transformation, change of scale property. So if the function f of x having Fourier transformation and zeta of fx is equal to f of x, okay, this is the definition of the Fourier transformation, and fx is equal to integration over minus infinity to plus infinity f of x into e to the power I sx into dx, okay, this is the definition of Fourier transformation. So here the function fx having Fourier transformation, then the Fourier transformation of f of ax, where a be a constant term, okay, and this is equals to zeta of f of ax, and this is equals to 1 by a into f of s by a, okay. This property is called a change of scale property. So here is the proof of the change of scale property. So let the function f of x be a Fourier transformation, okay, then zeta of f x is equal to f of s. This is the definition of the Fourier transformation of the function f of x, and it will be minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I sx into dx, okay. So now we are going to find the Fourier transformation of f of ax, okay. So therefore zeta of f of ax is equals to minus infinity to plus infinity. Here we replace f of x by f of ax, okay. Then from the definition of Fourier series, and it will be zeta of f of ax is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity f of ax into e to the power I sx into dx, where s is the parameter, okay. So now we are going to find the integral value of this integration, okay. So now we put t is equal to x, and then we differentiate one both side, we get dt is equal to a into dx, where t and x are the variable and a is the constant, okay. So therefore from this integration, that means from the definite integral, and it will be zeta of f of ax is equal to 1 by a into, and the limit will be changed, and it will be the same actually. So as x tends to minus infinity, t tends to minus infinity, and as x tends to plus infinity, t tends to plus infinity, okay. Therefore this integral value will be reduced to 1 by a into minus infinity to plus infinity f of t into e to the power I st by a, okay, where x is equal to t by a. So if we put x is equal to t by a, we will get this one, okay, into dt. From this integration we will get 1 by a into integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of t into e to the power I into s by a into t into dt, okay. So this is the Fourier transformation for the function f of s by a, okay. So therefore zeta of f of ax is equal to 1 by a into f of s by a. So f of s by a is the Fourier transformation of the function s by a. So this property is called a change of scale property. Now we will move on the third property of the Fourier transformation. So this is the shifting properties of Fourier transformation, or the third properties of Fourier transformation, okay. So if the function f of x having Fourier transformation that means zeta of f of x is equal to f of s. Okay, and you know f of s is equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx, where the function fx is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, then the Fourier transformation of the function f of x minus a, where a be any constant term, is zeta of f of x minus a is equals to e to the power I a s into f of s. Okay, this is called a shifting property of the function f of x minus a, where the function f of x having Fourier series and zeta of f of x is equal to f of x. Okay, this is the standard definition of the Fourier series. So let's proof of the theorem. Now we are looking for the proof of this theorem or proof of this property. So here is the property. Let f of x be a Fourier transformation. Then from the definition of Fourier transformation, zeta of fx is equal to f of s is equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of x into e to the power I s x into dx. Okay, so this is the definition of the Fourier transformation for the function f of x, where the function fx is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. So after that we are going to find the Fourier transformation of f of x minus a. So therefore, applying the definition of the Fourier transformation for the function f of x minus a, and from this we will get minus infinity to plus infinity f of x minus a into e to the power I s x into dx. Okay, so now we put x minus a is equal to t and then differentiate on both sides, where t and x are the variable and a is a constant. So derivative of t is dt and derivative of x is dx, and derivative of a is equal to 0, you know, so derivative of the constant term is 0. And as well the limit will be changed. So when we put x is equal to minus infinity, we will get t is equal to minus infinity. As well, when we put x is equal to plus infinity, then from this equation we will get t is equal to infinity. So therefore the definite integral will be changed, but the limit will be remain same. Okay, so then from this zeta of f of x minus a, and this is equals to 1 by a into integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of t into e to the power I s into a plus t into dt. So here x is equal to a plus t. Okay, and if we put x is equal to a plus t, we will get this one. So you know e to the power is into a plus t is equals to e to the power is a into e to the power is t. So where e to the power is a is the constant term, so we take e to the power is before the integration. Then from this we will get e to the power is a into integration over minus infinity to plus infinity, okay, into f of t into e to the power is t into dt. But e to the power is a is a constant term and e to the power is t is not a constant. Okay, but t is the variable. And now we take t is equal to x. Then from this integration we will get minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power is x into dx. And you know this is the definition of the Fourier transformation for the function f of x. Okay, and it is equals to f of x. So therefore zeta of f of x minus a is equal to e to the power is into f of s. Okay, so this is actually the shifting properties of the function f of x, where f of x minus a, so Fourier transformation of f of x minus a is equal to e to the power is into f of s. Hence the proof of the third properties of Fourier transformation. After that we are going to talk about the fourth property of Fourier transformation. So the fourth property, it will be modulation properties of Fourier transformation. So here is the statement: if the Fourier transformation of the function f of x or f of x having the Fourier transformation in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity then from the definition of Fourier transformation, zeta of fx is equal to f of s, and this is equals to minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx. Then the Fourier transformation of the function zeta of fx into cos ax, and this is equals to 1 by 2 into f of s minus a plus f of s plus a. So let's proof of the modulation properties of Fourier transformation. So let the function f of x be the Fourier transformation. Then you know from the definition, zeta of fx is equal to f of s is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx. This is the definition of the Fourier transformation, where the function is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. So now we are going to find the Fourier transformation of the function fx into cos ax. Okay. So the Fourier transformation of the function fx into cos ax, and it will be from the definition of Fourier transformation, minus infinity to plus infinity fx cos as into e to the power I s x into dx. And there is a formula for cos ax. It is actually e to the power I as plus e to the power minus is by 2. Okay, this is the formula of cos ax. Okay, and the second part, it will be e to the power I s x into dx. So therefore this integral value will be reduced to minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into e to the power I as plus e to the power minus is by 2 into dx. So after multiplying by e to the power ix on that section, and from this we will get e to the power I into s plus a into x, and plus e to the power minus of I into s minus a into x dx. Okay. So now separate these two integration, two parts, and the first integration will be minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s plus a into x dx, and the second part it will be minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I into s minus a x into dx. So this is the Fourier transformation for the function s minus a. Okay, from the definition it will be f of s minus a, and the second one is f of s plus a, the Fourier transformation of s plus a. So therefore from modulus theorem or modulation theorem of the function f of zeta of f of x plus ax, and it will be half of f of x minus a plus f of s plus a. Okay, hence the proof of the fourth properties of modulus theorem. After that we are going to take some examples on Fourier transformation, properties of Fourier transformation. So here is the example. Evaluate the Fourier transformation of the function fx is equal to 4 into e to the power minus modulus of x minus 5 into e to the power minus 3 into mod of x plus 2. And you know there are some important or standard properties of the Fourier transformation. Okay, I have already mentioned in the previous class. There are some standard formula for the Fourier transformation of the function, like e to the power minus modulus of x, e to the power minus x square by 2 as well. Okay, so here the function fx is equal to 4 into e to the power minus mod x minus 5 into e to the power minus 3 into mod of x plus 2. So now applying the Fourier transformation for that function, and it will give zeta of 4 into e to the power minus mod x minus 5 into e to the power minus 3 into mod of x plus 2. Now applying the linear properties of Fourier transformation, and from this we will get 4 into zeta of e to the power minus modulus of x minus 5 into zeta of e to the power minus 3 into modulus of x plus 2, and I can write this equation number 1. Now by the formula, so this is the standard formula for the Fourier transformation of the function e to the power minus mod x. Okay, and it will be 2 by s square plus 1, or s is the parameter. Now by the shifting properties, so from this, that means zeta of e to the power minus 3 into mod of x plus 2, and it will be zeta of e to the power minus 3 into x minus of minus 2. Okay, So from the shifting properties, it will give e to the power minus 2is into zeta of e to the power minus modulus of 3x. And then we apply the change of scale properties of the Fourier transformation, and from this we'll get 1 by 3 into f of s by 3. Okay, this is the change of scale properties of the Fourier transformation, and from this we'll get, and where fs is equal to zeta of e to the power minus modulus of x is equal to 2 by s square plus 1. So therefore f of s by 3, and it will give 2 by s by 3 whole square plus 1, that means 18 by s square plus 9. This is the value of the Fourier transformation of s by 3. Okay, so and after that we'll get the Fourier transformation of zeta of e to the power minus 3 into modulus of x plus 2, and it will be e to the power minus 2is by 3 into 18 by s square plus 9. And after simplifying this, the cancelling the term 3 from numerator and denominator, it will give 6 into e to the power minus 2is by s square plus 9. So from the equation 1, we'll get the Fourier transformation of the given equation. So it will be 4 into 2 by s square plus 1, where 2 by s square plus 1 is the Fourier transformation of e to the power minus x, and minus 5 into 6 into e to the power minus 2is by s square plus 9. This is the Fourier transformation of e to the power minus 3 into mod of x plus 3. After applying the shifting property as well the change of scale property, we will get 8 by s square plus 1 minus 30 e to the power minus 2is by s square plus 9. This is the value of the given function. For the transformation, it will be this. Let us move on the next slide. So in this slide, we will continue to discuss some more properties of Fourier transformation, and this one is the fifth property of Fourier transformation, that is on derivative of the function. See, if fx, f dash x, f double dash x, okay, and up to f to the power n minus 1 of x, all tends to 0 as x tends to plus minus infinity. So these are all the derivatives of the function fx. So this is the first order derivative. After that, this one is the second order derivative, and up to the n minus 1th order derivative, and all tends to 0 as x tends to plus minus infinity. Then integration over minus infinity to plus infinity, modulus of f to the power j. So jth order differentiation into dx converts to all j, then zeta of f to the power n of x. So the zeta, that is the Fourier transformation of the nth order differentiation, and it will give minus is whole to the power n into zeta of fx. And you know why zeta of fx is the Fourier transformation for the function fx, and it will be minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx. Okay, so this one is the properties of the Fourier transformation, that is on derivation of the function fx on Fourier transformation. And after that, we are going to take one more properties of Fourier transformation, and it is actually the on multiplication by x on the Fourier transformation. So if the function fx having the Fourier transformation, that means zeta of fx is equal to f of x, and you know there is a definition of Fourier transformation, and it will be integration minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I s x into dx. Okay, then the Fourier transformation of x into fx. So after multiplying by the function fx, and it will be x into fx. So the Fourier transformation of the function x into fx, and it will be zeta of x into fx, and it is equals to minus I into f dash s. Okay, this is the first order differentiation for the Fourier transformation of the function f of x, where function is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, this is the statement on the multiplication by x, or the sixth property of Fourier transformation. So here is the proof of this transformation. So let fx be the Fourier transformation, and fx is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity, you know. then zeta of fx is equal to f of s is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I sx into dx. This is the definition of the Fourier transformation, where the function is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. And from this we will get the Fourier transformation of the function x into f of x. Okay, this is the actually the properties of the Fourier transformation. Okay, so now we are going to find the Fourier transformation of x into f of x. So it will be from the definition of the Fourier transformation, minus infinity to plus infinity integration over x into fx into e to the power I sx into dx. So here the function is replaced to x into fx. Okay, so now we differentiate both sides on this function, and you know zeta of x into fx is equal to f of s, capital Fs. Okay, and now differentiate on both sides, and from this we'll get dds of minus infinity to plus infinity fx into e to the power I sx into dx. Okay, so from this we'll get minus infinity to plus infinity ix into fx into e to the power I sx into dx, and after differentiation it will give minus infinity to plus infinity ix into fx into dx. So here we apply the fifth rule of the Fourier transformation. Okay, on derivative of the Fourier transformation, this one is actually. So therefore from this we'll get I into integration minus infinity to plus infinity x into fx into e to the power I sx into dx. So therefore, and you know this is the Fourier transformation of the function x into f of x. Okay, so I into zeta of x into f of x is the Fourier transformation of the function x fx. Okay, so therefore zeta of x into fx is equal to minus I into the first derivative minus I into f dash s. Okay, so you know f dash s is the first derivative of zeta of fx, so dds of zeta of f of x. So this is the 6 properties of the Fourier transformation, that means on multiplication by x. So after multiplication by x on the function fx, and then we apply the Fourier transformation, and from this we will get minus I into the first derivative of the function fs, or and you know fs is equal to zeta of f of x. Okay, where fx is defined in the interval minus infinity to plus infinity as well, and it is integrable as well as is defined in that interval. So this is the proof of the 6 properties of the Fourier transformation, that means on multiplication by x. After that we are going to take some examples on the properties of Fourier transformation. So here is the example. Evaluate the Fourier transformation of the function fx is equal to x into e to the power minus 4x square. So here the function is actually x into e to the power minus 4x square, and you know there are some standard formula for Fourier transformation like e to the power minus x square. So from this we will get the Fourier transformation of the function e to the power minus 4x to the power 2. So you know the e to the power minus 4 into x to the power 2, and it will be written as zeta of e to the power minus root 8 into x whole square by 2. Okay, so this is actually minus 4 x to the power 2. Now we apply the change of scale properties of Fourier transformation, and from this Fourier transformation we will give zeta of e to the power minus root 8x whole square by 2, that means zeta of e to the power minus 4x square, and it is equals to 1 by root 8 into root over of 2 pi into e to the power minus s by root 8 whole square by 2, applying the change of scale properties of Fourier transformation. And this is actually the standard formula for the Fourier transformation of e to the power minus x square by 2. You know, this is actually the standard formula I have already mentioned in the previous class. And from this we will get after cancelling the term root 2 on numerator and denominator, and it will give 1 by root 4 into root over of pi into e to the power minus s square by 16. Okay, so therefore the Fourier transformation of e to the power minus 4x to the power 2 is equal to root pi by 2 into e to the power minus s square by 16. So therefore now we apply the 5th properties of Fourier transformation, so the on the derivative of the Fourier transformation. Now differentiate this with respect to s, on that function, and it will give minus is into zeta of e to the power minus 4x to the power 4. So now we differentiate this, we'll get minus 8 into x into e to the power minus 4x is x square. Okay, so this is equals to minus I s into zeta of e to the power minus 4x square. So this is actually the fifth rule for the Fourier transformation, that is on the derivative of the Fourier transformation. Okay, then after simplifying, it will give minus 8 into zeta of x into e to the power minus 4x square is equal to minus is into root over of pi by 2 into e to the power minus s square by 16. From this we will get the Fourier transformation of e to the power x into, and from this we will get the Fourier transformation of the function x into e to the power minus 4x square. Okay, and it will give is into root over of pi by 16 into e to the power minus x square by 16. So this is actually the value of the Fourier transformation of x into e to the power minus 4x square by applying the change of scale property and the fifth rule on derivative of the Fourier transformation. Will get the Fourier transformation, and it will be is into root over of pi by 16 into e to the power minus s square by 16. After that, we are going to take one more example on the properties of Fourier transformation. So here is the example. Find the Fourier sine transformation of the function e to the power x by x. Okay, so let the function fx is equal to e to the power x by x. Then the Fourier sine transformation. So you know there is a formula of Fourier transformation, and is denoted by fs of s, and is defined as integration of 0 to infinity fx into sine sx into dx, where s is the parameter, you know. So therefore fs of s is equal to, after putting the value of fx is equal to e to the power x by x, we will get integration of 0 to infinity e to the power x by x into sine sx into dx. So now we apply the fifth rule on the Fourier transformation. So this is actually the fifth rule. So this is actually the derivative of the Fourier transformation. Okay, so after differentiation, and it will give dds of fs of s, and it will be equals to 0 to infinity e to the power x by x into sine sx into dx. And after differentiation, it will give dfs of s by ds is equal to integration of 0 to infinity into e to the power x by x into derivative of sine sx. Okay, so derivative of sine sx is equal to x into cos sx dx, where x is the variable and x is the constant. Okay, so after differentiation sine sx, and it will give x into cos sx into dx, you know. So therefore, you know, this is the definite integral of the function e to the power x into cos sx into dx. So there is a formula for the function e to the power x into cos sx dx. Okay, so that is the integration of this function, and it will be, you know, e to the power minus x by a square plus s square, where a and s are the constant, into minus a into cos sx plus s into sine sx, where the upper limit is plus infinity and lower limit is 0. So you know this is actually the formula for the integration e to the power ax into cos bx. Okay, the value of this integration, it will be give e to the power ax into a square plus b square, where a b are the constant, into a cos bx plus b sin bx. Okay, so here s b is equal to s. Okay, so therefore applying this formula, we will get e to the power minus ax by a square plus s square into minus a cos sx, where a is equal to, you know, minus a. So minus a plus s into sine sx, where the lower limit is 0 and the upper limit is infinity. And now if we put x is equal to infinity, and from this we will get the value 0. So you know the e to the power minus infinity is equal to 0. So the whole terms, when we put x is equal to infinity, and it will give 0. And if we put x is equal to 0, then from this we will get e to the power 0, that is 1. So 1 by a square plus s square. Okay, so it will give Okay, minus 1 by a square plus s square into minus a into cos of 0, and cos of 0 is equal to 1, you know, plus sine of 0, and sine of 0 is equal to 0. So from this integration, after putting the value of upper limit and lower limit, and it will give a by a square plus s square. Okay, so therefore df is equal to a by a square plus s square into d of x. Okay, so now integrating on both sides, and it will give fs of s is equal to a into integration over 1 by a square plus s square into ds, and this is actually the integration of tan inverse s by a, and from this we will get the integral value of this integration, and it will give tan inverse s by a plus c, and so where c is the integrating constant. So now we put s is equal to 0, then from the equation 1, you know, this is then from this equation it will give the value, and s is equal to 0. Okay, so from this, now when we put s is equal to 0 in that equation, and from this we will get the value of c, and it will give 0. Okay, and at s is equal to 0, the Fourier sine transformation, it will be give 0. Okay, then from this we will get the value of c, and it will give 0. So therefore the Fourier sine transformation for the function e to the power x by x, and it will give tan inverse of s by a, where the constant term c is equal to 0. This is the Fourier sine transformation by applying the on the derivative of Fourier transformation. We will get the value of this transformation, and it is actually tan inverse s by a, where s is the parameter and a is the constant term. Okay, after that we will take one example on the properties of Fourier transformation. So here is the example. Find the Fourier cosine transformation of the function fx is equal to cos x, where x is lies in the interval 0 to a, and it is equals to 0 when x is greater than 0. So you know the Fourier cosine transformation, the definition of Fourier cosine transformation, fc of s, it is denoted by fc of s, and is defined as integration 0 to infinity fx into cos sx dx. Okay, and Fourier sine transformation. So there are two types of transformation. First of all, Fourier cosine transformation and Fourier sine transformation. So in a Fourier cosine transformation, where the function fx is an even function, and Fourier sine transformation where the function is an odd function. And the Fourier sine transformation, it is denoted by fs of s, and is defined as 0 to infinity fx into sine sx dx, you know. So I have already mentioned in the previous slide, where the function fs of s is a Fourier sine transformation. So in that problem we are going to find the Fourier cosine transformation of the function fx is equal to cos x, and it is defined in the interval 0 to a. Okay, so fc of s is equal to, you know, 0 to infinity fx into cos sx into dx, and you know the function fx is partwise continuous. So in that interval 0 to a, it is cos x, and in the interval x greater than a, that means a to infinity, the functional value is 0. So this integral is piecewise continuous. So therefore the function fx is piecewise continuous. Therefore the integral is divided into two parts. So the first part is 0 to a fx into cos sx dx, and the second part is it will be a to infinity fx into dx. So in the interval 0 to a, the functional value is cos x, and in the interval a to infinity, the functional value is 0. So the second integral where the function fx is 0, then the second integral it will be 0, that is in the interval a to infinity, the functional value is 0. Okay, therefore the cosine transformation will be reduced to 0 to a into fx into cos sx into dx. You know there is a properties of trigonometric function of cos a into cos b, you know. So 2 into cos a cos b is equal to cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b. Okay, where a is equal to x and b is equal to s into x. The properties of trigonometric formula of cos a into cos b, so from this we will get cos of 1 plus s into x plus cos of 1 minus s into x dx. Okay, and the integration is a definite integral and from 0 to a. So now we integrate both the functions, and from this we will get sine 1 plus s x by 1 plus s, and second one it will be sine 1 minus s x by 1 minus s, but the upper limit is a and the lower limit is 0. And after putting the value of upper limit, and it will give sine of 1 plus s of a by 1 plus s, and the second one it will be sine 1 minus s of a by 1 minus a. And if we put the lower limit 0, and from this 2 we will get 0. So sine of 0 is 0, as well as sine of 1 minus s of 0 is equal to 0. So therefore the Fourier cosine transformation for the function cos x in the interval 0 to a, it will give 1 by 2 into sine of 1 plus s of a by 1 plus s plus sine of 1 minus s of a, this is actually a, by 1 minus s. Okay, after that we are going to take one more example on Fourier on the properties of Fourier transformation. So that is the example. Find the Fourier sine transformation of the function fx is equal to 1 by x. So the required transformation fs of s is equal to 0 to infinity fx into sine sx into dx. So this is the definition of the sine transformation. So, and it is denoted by fs of s and is defined as 0 to infinity fx into sine sx into dx. So now we put fx is equal to 1 by x, and this integral value will give 0 to infinity sine sx by x into dx. Okay, so now we put sx is equal to t, then we differentiate on both, we will get dx s into dx is equal to dt. Okay, so dx is equal to 1 by s into dt. So now putting the value of sx is equal to t, and is equal to 1 by t into 1 by s into dt, will get 1 by s into integration of 0 to infinity, and the limit will be remain same. So when we put x is equal to 0, then t is equal to 0, and if we put x is equal to infinity, we will get t is equal to infinity. So the upper limit and lower limit are remain same in that integration. So integration of 0 to infinity sine sx by x dx, it will be changed, and it is reduced to 1 by s into integration of 0 to infinity s into sine t by t into dt. Okay, so in that case, where t is the variable and s is the constant. So now we cancel s from numerator and denominator, and the definite integral will be 0 to infinity sine t by t into dt, and the value of this definite integral will be pi by 2. Okay, so this is the value of the Fourier sine transformation for the function 1 by x. I will stop here. Thank you.